Hello and welcome to episode 164 of the Game Room Podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious bevs and discuss video games. And this week, it's sports ball time, baby. I'm your host.
All right.
I'm your host, Dan Criggleberry Rotz, and I'm joined
by Chris Jack Marius Tac Theratrix Wrights.
And boy, howdy, do we have a show for you today. So excited to get into it. Chris, how you feeling today, bud?
I'm feeling spry. I'm feeling young. I'm feeling ready to drink these beers and talk about these games.
Let's drink some beers, talk about some games, and that's, of course, because on this episode of the podcast, we asked the question, is sports games still fun? But first, it's time for a bev and for me to stop talking in this voice. There we go. Okay, that was the sports.
Honestly,
I mean, I could probably do it. I could do that for an entire sports cast, I think. I think if I were to really do it, I could.
Yeah.
I have to know what I'm talking about, though. That's the problem about it. But anyway,
it's hard to do that while also thinking about what you're talking about.
I need the roster. I need to see what's going on, everything like that. But boy, as we said, this is the Game Room Podcast, and this is the Beer and Video Games Podcast. So it's just Chris and Dan tonight. It's Dan and Chris show.
Love that.
Love the Dan and Chris show. Nerd. But it's and tonight we're talking about sports games because JMU was just in the NCAA playoffs. Unfortunately, they were just knocked out this evening. But emphatically. But it was the furthest they've gone.
Furthest they've gone in 30 years.
So good job.
Pretty cool.
We're proud of them. Proud of those boys. As Hannah said earlier, I'm proud of those 19-year-olds I've never met.
Some of them might even be able to drink, so that's cool.
Amazing. Well, those ones deserve a beer, but we're drinking. Chris,
but the ones that are not 21 should not have any beer.
They should not.
And I'm sure going to JMU, they never touched it until they are 21.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes. But Chris, what are you imbibing this evening? What do you have there?
I'm drinking some Smithwick's Red Ale. So I had some leftover from last weekend, which was St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day.
Gosh. So yeah, I made some corned beef and cabbage as you do,
as one does,
which is not the official food of Ireland. I don't know if you know that. But
no, that's Scotland. What's the official food of Ireland?
It's a bit on the nose. It's Irish stew.
It's Irish. That sounds about right. I mean, we could cop out and just be like, the stew is like, what's the national food for America? American stew. What about Canada? Canadian stew.
Pretty sure it's probably like hot dogs or hamburgers, or something obscure that
something that no one actually eats, or like something so processed it's not food anymore.
Yeah, like American cheese.
Yeah,
that's not cheese.
Well, it is cheese. It's just manufactured cheese.
It's cheese product.
Well, it's still cheese though. It's just like
that's like saying like Breyer's ice cream is ice cream. It's
why is Breyer's ice cream not ice cream?
Because it doesn't have enough milk fat, I think, in it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I had no idea.
Frozen dessert or something.
That makes sense as to why I don't like Breyer's ice cream then. Yeah. Because yeah. So,
there you go. Anyways, Smithwick's Red Ale. So this is like this is like the quintessential red ale. Like obviously Killian's is probably the one we're a little bit more familiar with here.
Yeah, I think that's because that's
the United States, but
that's a US
trying to be this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, Smithwick's is great. Smithwick's is great. I do love it. What's the chuggability rating on that?
I mean, it's an Irish beer, so it's pretty high.
Pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Right-ho.
Yeah, it's only 4.5%. It's got some nice bitterness to it, but not too much bitter. It's got some nice maltiness to it, but not too much. It's like a good balance. It's highly chuggable for sure.
Highly chuggable. I like it. That's what I like to hear. I've got Dogfish Head has a spring series of artwork on some beers they made. So this is Dogfish Head's Nordic Spring India Pale Ale. It's brewed with orange peels, juniper needles, and juniper berries. So it's
Ooh,
very floral.
you should
Here
play
you can
Skyrim
look
with
at
that.
that. Yeah, look at the can. It's
Yeah.
very cool. It's very neat artwork. Let me just read. Because it says for their 2024 art series, they asked their pals over at Methane Studios to flex their creative muscles into 4 seasonals. Based in Atlanta, Georgia, Robert and Mark have been creating beautiful illustrations and printmaking together since 1998 for some of the world's largest bands, festivals, and events. It's very cool. It is very reminiscent of like the festival artwork that you see for festivals.
Yeah.
But
That's cool.
now the beer itself is very good. It's very
Yeah.
floral in the way that it tastes. It's very light on there. It's a 6.4% or 6.5%
Not super
ABV.
heavy. I
Not
assume
super
not
heavy.
super hoppy either.
No, it's not super hoppy. And it is like it's not super fruit forward though. So it's like it's definitely not like this isn't a fruit IPA. It's like this is a IPA and it's got that nice like sort of kind of like Scotch tastes like the ground. This tastes like the grass. But
Okay.
juniper grass. Juniper trees.
Yeah, when I hear of juniper berries, I always think of that one dude at the beginning of Skyrim that's talking about that one maid in uh your Rorikstead that made mead with juniper berries.
Have you
That's how
heard
many
this?
times I've started that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like I've made mead with juniper berries. I was gonna say I don't remember the last time I started Skyrim. Maybe I start
Yeah,
Skyrim again. Who knows?
it's about that time, I guess.
It's about that time. But I'm putting it in my nice Game Brew koozie to keep it warm.
Ooh, very fancy.
Courtesy of Carrie. Hashtag Carrie's the best. Wishy Pip. She rocks.
Very nice.
Um,
Very cool. Yeah, I'm interested in trying that because I feel like some of their beers that are like kind of like off their main
mhm.
set can be a little bit hit or miss.
Well, I think that's a lot of the. I think that's a lot of these boys who do like Dogfish Head has like the 60-minute, the 90-minute, the 120-minute. Like that's like their bread and butter, right? Um, and they just kind of get used to doing that. That's like Victory has like all of their beers that they do really well, and then sometimes and like the offshoots are like okay, but this was pretty good. I like this one a
Nice.
lot. It smells really nice too. Like I like whenever a beer is aromatic, and
Mm,
that's very nice.
I do
Um,
love an aromatic beer.
but chuggability pretty high. Not like the highest, but it's like I could chug it if I wanted to. If I wanted to. But I don't want to. I don't want to at all. I just want to
Do you want to
shout.
enjoy?
Yeah, I do want to shout out everybody here in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
As we're going along, if you have any questions about beer or video games, or if you have anything to input, please type it in the chat, and then I will see it and I will say what it says. I say whatever's in there. I'm like Ron Burgundy.
Someone broke the teleprompter.
Great. But this is a beer and video games podcast, so Chris and I have been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
You sure have. Yeah, so I ended up picking this up kind of on a whim on Tuesday. And I put in almost
Wow,
about 22 hours on it.
that's a lot of time if you got it on Tuesday. I mean, I
Yeah.
got it when it came out, and I'm just about as far
Yeah.
as
Yeah. So I've been very clearly been enjoying it. I think so far I'm enjoying it a little bit more than remake.
than the first one.
The Midgar section of it.
Do
The first one.
do you think that's because of the open world parts of it?
I think it's because of I kind of related to that. I think it's because it has more diversity in locations and color
Mm,
palettes instead of
right,
just being
metal and dark.
different shades of gray.
Yeah, metal, dark, brown or dark gray.
And then like really bright lights in Wall Market or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's has a lot to do with it. I think
Okay.
also there's a lot like there's really good pacing, like as far as and like diversity of activities. It's like there's just enough that if there was a little bit more, it'd be too much. But right now, it just feels like it's just enough of like the side stuff.
Yeah.
Good,
I think
but not too much.
I think that's my favorite part of it so far is is not even the main, like, I love, like, the combat feels great. I really enjoy it. Like the way that you like select skills, get people, even though I really wish that my companions would like attack with their basic attacks more whenever I'm doing stuff. Because I'm like, why isn't Aerith's ATB gauge going up? It's like, because she's just standing back there going left, right,
yeah,
left, auto heal Cloud, who keeps getting smacked in the face over and over again. But yeah, I mean, specifically, like, I really enjoyed the like the mini game whenever you're in Junon, where you are doing the competition or the parade competition.
Yeah, that was
so
great.
Much more than the original one, because the original one was just like, oh yeah, press the button at the right time to like put your foot up and then foot down and foot up and foot down.
Yeah, no, I think that's been my favorite part also, is just like the variety of like when you go and get like a different chocobo for a different region, you have to like do like a stealth game. When you go find the Moogles, you have to kind of like dodge them to get them all into this one confined area. When you there's a section where you play a game called Fort Condor.
Fort Condor. Yep.
There's a section where, and that's kind of like a strategy sort of game. There's always the card game.
Queen's Blood. I love Queen's Blood, dude. I love Queen's Blood it's like so much. It's just a cool, like the way I'm like finding myself trying to come up with new strategies of how to play Queen's Blood the most effective way. And it changes every time.
What's your build right now?
Right now, I'm doing a build that is that's based on Chocobo and Moogle. So basically, so it's like lots of just like, here's Chocobo. Hopefully, it's like early pool Chocobo and Moogle, and then
Ifrit also has that same thing.
And then Ifrit, yes, yeah, he has that same thing, but it's like Ifrit.
I always thought it was Ifrit, but.
Yeah, we'll see. Tomato, potato.
You know who I'm talking about.
Hey, if you're in the chat and you can hear us, can you let me know just in case it isn't just an Allison problem? Hold on, let me see.
Nice. Yeah.
Because if it is, hold on, let me turn my volume. Nope, it's an Allison problem. Sorry, Allison.
That tracks.
Love you.
Just kidding.
Love you, Allison.
Yeah, I've been really. Go ahead.
No, Allison's recovering this week from some health stuff, so she'll be back soon. But all the other half of the Game Brew podcast is just under the weather, and then we're good.
So you're just stuck with Danny.
You're stuck with us again.
Yep, and our very similar opinions on things.
Same opinions. Hashtag team same opinions.
But no, I've been really enjoying it. I never played the first one, so I don't have all the
true.
Like the first one being the original Final Fantasy.
Yeah, right.
So like I don't have all this nostalgia that other people have, but I will say that it is a very good game. I think like the way that they do the characters, and like you really develop some relationships with them, like as far as like, you know, you do end up caring about them, and like I don't know, they just did a really good job of really fleshing them out.
I mean, even the side characters, like, because there is new stuff in the story, and if you haven't played Rebirth yet, we're not going to spoil a lot of the stuff. But in Junon, even like I found myself at the end of that section, like whenever after you go through everything with the other soldier guys, and then you get onto the elevator and you go down to the boat, I was tearing up a little bit whenever you're like like saluting them and then going down. It's just like I was like, oh man, this is great.
Did you save all of them?
Oh yeah, of course I did. You kidding me?
Good. Me too.
I'm amazing. Yeah, I'm so good at like protect. I was like, I had so many missed potions. I was so ready. I was ready for it.
All the boys got through.
but I really do think I was telling Hannah this while I was playing it because she was reading and I was playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it really is like so. It's such a interesting way they frame the game because like the story is dark. Like everything about the story is very dark and it should be upsetting, but everything that you're doing along the way is making you feel like bubbly and good and nice. So you're like it's like this weird I feel like I'm like it's balancing out my karma like the whole time. So it's like even though Cloud is like the most oblivious person in the entire world in this part, he really is. He really is. It's just great. And Red 13 is the funniest character now.
Red 13 is great. Oh, when he on the
on the deck of the ship when he has the thing on.
Yeah,
it's great.
Incredible.
And just like his children keep coming up to him and petting him. That's my favorite part. It's just that wherever he is, there's always children, and they always pet him because they think he's a dog, and he hates it, and it's the best.
But
thing.
like, I don't understand why everyone thinks he's a dog when dogs exist and also cats exist. And he looks way more like a cat.
Well, hey, Chris, you've never played this before. Just wait. There's more. You'll get some Red 13 background story. You get some deep Red 13 background lore.
But I'm just saying, he looks like a cat, but they call him a dog.
He kind of looks like a lot of things.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Well, eventually there will be a cat, and you'll be real annoyed with that too. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I mean, Chris and I are about the same place, but and Chris is like 20 hours in. I think I'm like 18, something like that.
And I actually I was telling Dan earlier, I basically skipped an entire section that I didn't mean to, and I'm now going back to it. But at first, once I realized that I had skipped it, I
was thinking about that, Chris. There is a point where you go in and it says, "Hey, you're about to go to this place. You won't be able to come back for a while."
It does say that, but it said that about under Junon and not about the whole region.
Oh, I get it. I understand now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Chris. I'm so sorry.
It's going to be okay. It's not your fault.
It's not. You're right. Hey, you're right. I've also been playing Helldivers 2. It's great. We're going to play some of that at the end. So we'll probably talk about
democracy.
Yeah, spread some democracy and some liberty across the galaxy. As we need to defend Super Earth. If you are in the chat if you're a part of the Game Brew, if you're part of the Game Brew universe in the Discord, let us know if you want to play Helldivers 2. Say again? Yeah, the Game Brew Extended Universe. If you're a member and you have Helldivers 2 and you want to play with us once we finish the podcast portion, let us know because we'll be here. We'll be around. Also the new season of the new season of League of Legends stuff came around too. Team Fight Tactics is like it's called Inkborn Legends. And it's pretty aesthetically cool. It's a little different from the last season of Team Fight Tactics. So pretty neat. I'm still playing it. I'm still really bad at it, but it's fun. I don't have to think.
As long as you're having fun.
It's auto chess, and I don't have to think and do it at the same time. Or I could. I'd probably do better if I did, but
probably.
Nah. Oh boy, Nightbot. We're not doing the Extra Life 24-hour stream.
Go home,
anymore.
Nightbot. You're drunk.
Go home, Nightbot. You're drunk. Lord Greyman says hello, everyone. Hope y'all are doing well. We are doing well. These people here are doing great. This half is doing better. Allison and Carrie are improving.
But hey, that's we're taking the advantage of this and using that to talk about sports ball. So
we're gonna talk about sports ball. Now, speaking of which, it's time for us to get into our sports ball part of the podcast. This is the part of the podcast where we're going to talk about everything about sports ball games that we remember or think about, and the best parts of them or the worst parts of them. So stick with us, and here we go. Okay, I did it. Also, I do need to try that one. Hello, Lord Graven. Also, there's some new soundboard sounds. I showed Chris that I've created. First off, if you
Spoiler
get
alert, they're all Allison.
they're not all Allison actually. So
it's like she's here with us.
It's like she is here with us, literally. So this is something I debuted on my personal stream. This is the ban hammer. So whenever if you're a bot and you come in, you're gonna get hit with the ban hammer. There you go. That's
ban hammer.
No, ban, as in you get banned.
But also, you're Dan.
That's true. Dan hits you with the ban hammer. All right, there you go. And then there's this glorious sound effect.
We all like MILFs.
Hell yeah. It's a good one.
I mean, we do. I mean, whenever it is like, does anyone have anything to add?
We all like MILFs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we do. That's true. Yep.
Hell yeah.
And then this one. I'm using the pickle. Everybody.
The pickle. He's using
there we go. All right.
the pickle.
Oh, who just came in? Oh, sorry. That's it.
Every time.
Okay, so we're going to talk about sports games. So March Madness is happening right now. College football, basketball. Excuse me. College basketball. It's and that it's made kind of think about like I was like, are there like good basketball games? I haven't played like an NFL basketball game in a while. And then I just
really struggling with all these football and basketball. NFL
what
basketball
did I say?
Game. You said NFL basketball game.
An NBA. Listen, I know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
But it's been such a long time since I really thought about any of them and like what's good. So the first question I thought of is like, wait, what was that? Which one was a little too hard to hear? Oh, this one? I'm using the pickle. That one's not so good. I'm using the pickle. But I'll keep doing it. Or were you talking about this one?
We all like MILFs.
Hell yeah.
We all like MILFs. But do you still play, Chris? Do you still play any sports games? And this is a question for the chat too. If you're in the chat and you still play a sports game, let me know what sports games you still play.
I do on and off. Like I like racing games. Like I really like Forza. Like I like that line of games.
Ooh.
There was a hot second that I was playing an NBA 2K.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was 2017. So like that was a little bit a while ago. I did play a little bit of MLB The Show 2022 or 21. Haven't played Madden in a hot second.
I haven't played Madden either. I think I downloaded it and then I started to play it and then I didn't.
You know what? I think I have WWE. I have 2K23. Nice.
Wow. Okay.
It came in a humble bundle.
Of course it did.
But yeah, so I mean, like I would say, like the majority. Oh, Blood Bowl. I played Blood Bowl. That's a
Blood Bowl.
Game.
That is a sports game. That is a sports game. I think the last I played FIFA. We like MILFs. I can't get over it. It's so funny. We do.
We all like MILFs.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's just how it goes. I think I downloaded FIFA 24. And I started to play a little bit of that because I was watching Welcome to Wrexham and it made me want to play soccer, but it's cold outside, but so I couldn't go play soccer. But like, yeah, I think that's really like the last sports game that I played. I can't think of another one that I've played recently. I mean, some racing games. I play Hot Wheels Racer, but that's not. I don't know if I qualify racing games as a sport.
Well, I think
game.
It depends. I wouldn't call Mario Kart a sports game.
But Forza,
I do for some reason. Does that make sense?
I mean, no, but like, yeah,
like you know where I'm coming from. I don't know.
I do. I get
that
it.
Line is, but
I understand like how your brain is connecting the two things.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those like.
I just know it. I know it. One is one and one is the other.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing where knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, but wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.
Right.
You know,
although could be good.
It's not really. It's not really. It doesn't fit. It just tastes like water. But the
tomatoes do not just taste like water.
If you get
a good tomato is very good.
A good tomato.
And I'll fight on this.
You don't fight me for it. Gray says the last sports game he did was Wii Sports. That's just a sports game in total. That's like
is top tier.
It is
sports game
because you actually have to do things like with it. It's not like any of the other ones where you're just using your thumbs. I'm just using my thumbs to sports instead of
Rocket League a sports game.
That's an interesting question.
Because it's driving and it's also soccer.
I think we'd have to go into defining what sports is, and I think that's a much deeper conversation that I don't that we don't have time for. We don't have time or the brain power for. But
I got enough capacity.
But I think I would classify Rocket League as a sport because it does take skill, and it is like a head-to-head sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
I think I would. It passes the Chris sports check. Was that
the Chris
beer,
sports,
or was that something else?
No, it was orange soda. It's not. My beer's not orange. I'll pour it out. You can see.
Soda?
Dan loves orange soda. Is it true? Mm-hmm. I do.
Youngins won't get that.
This is
what. Was there ice in that?
No, there was no ice in it.
Oh, okay.
This is a different. I have two Pilsner glasses here. One is for water. One was for soda.
Appalled.
Once the Olympics recognize playing video games as professional sporting, all games will be sports games. Gray says. I read a thing on the internet today. Hold on. I read a thing on the internet today that said that you playing video games for 2 hours can burn as much calories as doing 1,000 sit-ups or something like that.
No.
but it won't build any muscles, but it could I can see the stress of playing video games causing you to burn calories.
I want to see this. Could you
I don't know where it was. I saw it on the internet.
You found this. I mean, I can say a bunch of random shit on the internet. That doesn't mean it's true.
Listen, I know bees can cure cancer, so that's that's
true.
That's true.
really.
Just saying. I don't know. Sports.
So I think the general consensus is we don't play them. I don't
anymore.
Play them as much as I used to, especially in college. I was playing a lot of Madden in college.
Okay.
There was a period I played a lot of out of the park baseball when I was into that, which is like a management sim because I'm really cool. And I feel like FIFA was just getting popular then.
Yeah, it was just starting to become the thing where people would go to each other's dorm rooms or college apartments and be like, "Hey, we're just going to go play FIFA for a few hours." It's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Or actually, I had friends who would also do that, but with NHL.
We would do that with Call of Duty. We would play zombies, and that was fun. But yeah. So do you think it's because we're just not in the sports game space, or do you think something's changed with the way that sports games are viewed?
Yeah. So I was trying to think about this earlier, and I think a couple things. First, I think that especially in college, we were all paying more attention to sports in general, like football, because we would always watch football on Sundays or whatever, or Saturdays too. We had off during marching band. Or I think we were just more in that zone of paying attention to sports, and I think I pay attention to baseball, but I don't pay as close attention to football as I used to, or basketball. I've never been super interested in, except for when JMU's in the
tournament. Yeah,
which is cool.
I mean,
except when they get by Duke, but that's okay.
I do think I as I've gotten older, into my 30s now, I'm very much at least me as a person, the sports thing isn't the thing I use to connect with my friends. Like, just that's different. Like my brother-in-law, Ron, who you can see if you go over, if you ever watch my Thursday night streams. He's a sports person. So he won 3, or I think he won 2, but placed second in the third one of his 3 fantasy football leagues this year. And he does ones that are like
intense.
You get money. Like, he gets money for doing it. So I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. But it's like, me, I don't want to think about, I just want to watch my Eagles play, and that's really about it. I don't want to watch all the other teams play.
Yeah,
and like,
I watched the Ravens, especially like it's a good way to like hang out with folks, especially if they have like kids now. Like, they're usually still able to watch the game on Sunday. So
we're so old now. All of our friends have kids.
Not us though, Dan.
Not us. We have
just got babies.
Furry babies, baby. Gray says, okay, hold on. Let's catch up on the chat here a little bit. Allison says that Rocket League is a sport to her. Gray says facts. Then they talk about how the reasons for, Allison gave all the reasons for why Rocket League is a sport, which is valid. They're all pretty much checks, just like in a car. Physical exertion, skill is the primary factor of the activity, with elements of competition or social participation, where rules and patterns of behavior governing the activity. Just in a car.
Just in a car.
Yeah. And then Gray says burning calories doesn't mean building muscle. True. Allison says esports. And then Gray says, I feel like unless a sport was really important to you through your college years / age range, sports other than when your home teams are doing well kind of fall by the wayside. Yeah. That's how I feel. I'm like, I like to watch the Eagles. I like the 76ers. I like the Flyers. That's it. I'm a one.
The Phillies?
I like the Phillies too. Sorry. Listen, I'm a one city kind of guy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much the same way. I mean, there's like, I still kind of have a soft spot for the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they were like, when the Orioles were bad, they were my other team that I would pay attention to. But
birds.
Which
other bird team?
I prefer reddish tinted bird teams.
Oh no, I never changed the. Oh, keep talking. I have to change the title. No. Is wrong. The title's wrong.
Oh yeah, episode 163, Mario Day.
No, it's 164. Mario Day.
Yeah,
it's episode 164.
So I think that's a big part of it. That we're just not as immersed into that culture as we were. With that being said, there also hasn't, like, the games haven't changed much since then.
It's kind of been the same. I was thinking
better
about
graphics, but like the gameplay is the same. The only thing that's different is that every single one of them have like an ultimate team type thing going on.
What do you mean? An ultimate?
So like where you buy packs and they have different level
cards. Oh yeah.
And like you play a game. Yeah, and it's like that's now the focus of a lot of the games.
Sports microtransactions.
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
Like, I think it's detrimental to the development of the core of the game. You know what I mean? Because like they're focused on making that game mode fun, and so like the other game modes just are kind of like not as
right.
They just don't.
They don't get highlighted anymore, and especially because the people who own most of the sports games are EA, and we all know what their one trick pony trick is, which is, hey, microtransactions, yay! But I said it last podcast because we were talking about Mario stuff. One of my favorite sports games is Super Mario Strikers. For the GameCube was one of my favorite sports games because it's soccer, but it's Mario, but also it's like you have like cool abilities and stuff, and like things are really neat. And I feel like we've gotten past. Grace says, "What? EA is out for the money?" I know
this is
surprising.
News.
It's surprising. But like those are the kind of things that I like. I like that. I love NFL Blitz.
Blitz was awesome.
I love NFL.
It's still one of my whenever I'm at like an arcade. Fun fact: there's an arcade bar, a barcade, if you will, that opened up in Columbia.
Ooh,
Yeah, so it's like 5 minutes from my house, so that's nice.
that's really cool.
Yeah, they have Blitz, which is great. But yeah, I've always loved NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz is good.
It's fun.
You said you were playing Blood Bowl recently, also.
Not recently, but I have played it.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, I do, and I like being able to like build a team, and like especially with that, like it's a little less like it's a board gamified version of football, but with like you beating the shit out of each other, and it's like got kind of a comedy skin to it, because it's like all the different races of Warhammer are playing against each other. This is Warhammer Fantasy, not Warhammer 40K.
Right.
Specific, but so like you'll have like an orc team, or like like you can have like a troll on your orc team, or like there's a halfling team, which are all like really tiny.
Those little guys, just little guys,
and then you can just get like smeared, but like they're very scrappy, and like I don't know, it's just got like some really good humor to it, and I like the kind of RPG-ish stats that like they can develop skills and stuff, and or just die.
That's a thing. That's a thing I could do.
So it's fun. It does have a kind of frustrating mechanic, and this is also in the tabletop game, where I think if you either drop the ball it makes sense, but like if you fail on a tackle, it becomes the opponent's turn. Instead of like you being able to go through all of your guys.
And so it's just like that's kind of like that's kind of like more like a baseball thing, where it's like almost like it's an error, and that like stops everything.
And like then the other
or basketball,
his units. Yeah,
that's probably more basketball, where it's like if you mess up, it's like, oh, done, can't pass anybody else because you don't have the ball anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I always think about. I was looking at, I think it was something on Reddit, and somebody had posted like all of the games from like the early 2000s, like the sports games, because it was like NBA Street 2, SSX Tricky, and they all have that sort of like graffitied, like there was like FIFA Street. There were all these games that were like, they had like that graffiti title aesthetic. And like Def Jam. That's a fighting game.
The Def Jam one. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was like Def Jam basketball or something like that, I think it was. And like how those were such a vibe, to use a term that the children use.
Yeah, I've been using that phrase a lot lately, apparently, which is
it's a vibe. Has your wife been telling you that? Hey, you keep saying that's a vibe a lot.
No, but I noticed that about myself recently. I probably should stop because I'm in my 30s.
Listen, I say tight constantly, and
tight.
I'm just like, oh, tight, and then Hannah's just like, you know that you're like the only person who says that, right? I'm like, I guess.
Whatever.
It's tight. Whatever.
It's tight as hell. Yeah, I feel like the late like 90s, early 2000s, like the 2000s were just like a good time for sports games.
I think so, because that's when we had like the Tony Hawk series.
Yep. Well, and like all the like you were saying, like Blitz, there was NFL hits.
There was also EA Madden. I think it was like Madden 2008 or something is like my favorite. No, I think it was 2005.
Do you remember who the cut was on the cover?
No, I don't remember. I just remember that whenever you would start it up, the song, the "Let's get a party going, let's get a party going, let's get a party going, party on" would start playing, and that was like my jam. Like just whenever it would be Saturday morning, I'd boot that up, and that would be the first thing that you hear in the morning whenever you're like eating your cereal. And me and Brad are playing Madden against each other. But also like we also had like a 2001 is when Backyard Baseball came out. Do you remember that?
Backyard Baseball.
That game was hard as balls, dude.
Yeah, but
Like,
also like I mean, it was cool.
it was
Like,
great because it was like the range of like it was like a kid's game. I remember like backyard baseball and backyard basketball and backyard football were like the games where one of my friends would have it and I'd be like, "Oh, can we go play that? Can we play that? It's a game for
Yeah.
children."
I mean, it was awesome. Like, I mean, like getting all the players and like the kid version of them. Like,
Yes.
so cool.
Oh, it was great. And then yeah, NBA Street was awesome. Was great.
Yeah.
It was
I
just
don't know
such
if
a
I
cool.
actually ever played them, but like
It was great because
they
it was
looked great.
it was only 3v3. It was kind of like NBA Jams, like NBA Street and NBA Jams, kind
Well,
of
I
the
was gonna
same.
say, like it kind of seemed like that was like the predecessor was Jam, which I did play that one.
Jams is great. He's on fire.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. Hey, you remember whenever Rage 2 came out and there was a voice pack that you could do where it was that guy? It was it's the NBA Jams guy, and he would just narrate anytime that you would you could like set someone on fire, and he's on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, I never finished that game. Maybe I'll load up Rage 2 at some point and finish that.
Yeah, but you're playing Final Fantasy. You're good.
I've got a lot on my plate. So do you think that in general sports games have improved, or have they gotten worse, or stayed the same? What do you think?
It's hard to say. Truthfully, I haven't played like a modern game in a while, but that could also mean that like nothing's really changed, and so I don't really need to. I mean, if anyone's listening right now, and if you want to tell me I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me.
Please
But
do.
from my from my perspective, like it just seems like it's the same shit that with updated rosters every year.
I do. I think I in my opinion, I don't know if I agree it's the same stuff with different rosters, but I do think that sports video games in particular, thrive the most whenever they recognize the fact that they are video games, which is why those early 2000s are like the things that like like NBA
Yeah.
Jams or NFL Blitz or like Mario All-Star Soccer or Mario Strikers, Mario Tennis. Those things are good because it's like it makes a video game sports instead of just being like, hey, you want to play a sport, here you go. It's just in video game form. It's like, here's a sport, but also it's a video game, so here's the video game
But
parts
also,
of it.
it's off the walls.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can make this ball catch on fire and hit it as hard as you can at somebody. Golf.
Yes, but golf. Yes, but also I think it's really cool when a sports game can be so accurate that it can be used for
For like tracking and stuff, or like to determine the outcome
so
of
like did you watch that Gran Turismo movie?
I didn't. I haven't watched that.
It's
do need
better than
to.
I expected.
Yeah.
And also it's based on a true story, which I had no idea about.
Right. That's wild. Because
so like it's basically the premise is this was a dude that was really good at Gran Turismo, and one of the like one of the racing companies, or I guess one of the car companies that sponsors a racing team, basically hired or like brought in a bunch of people that were really good at Gran Turismo, trained them to actually drive, and some of them one of them was pretty good. Which I don't know. That's kind of cool that like he was like
that's pretty neat.
Like he was
I guess-
so good at the game that some of that translated into real life experience.
Can you imagine if they did that with like football?
I mean, from like,
or if you're like a coaching from a
Yeah.
coaching standpoint. No, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about like middle linebacker. You know.
Yeah, but like that. Well, I mean, recognizing plays, maybe I don't know.
Maybe
but like
that'd be
for
pretty
out of the
good.
park baseball, I mean, I feel like that might be able to help you figure out certain things. Like
That's true. I mean, it's not
Like-
going to give you like some of like the rookie, like where he injures his arm and then throws the ball real fast. Remember that movie?
yeah, the rookie of the year.
Rookie of the Year. That's what it is. Not the Rookie. That's a different one.
Yeah,
That's a different
with
baseball movie.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, it's Dennis Quaid. Yep.
Yep.
So many sports movies, so little time.
Yep. Speaking of movies, Dan, we haven't.
Summer. We'll do it in summer.
Okay.
It's going to be summer.
Okay.
Just because there's so much going on.
I feel like it ends in around the Halloween season.
Yeah, pretty. That's a good time. I think it's basically like we do some movies until it gets to Halloween. We do a spooky movie, and then we take a break for a while.
We take a break.
I did just watch the Roadhouse remake with.
Is it awesome?
Jake Gyllenhaal. It's pretty good. It's not
you remember
great.
Watching that on the band bus?
Oh, I watch Roadhouse like probably every year. I have to watch it at least once. You know, I mean, you never get such good dialogue as "Pain don't hurt." I still use. I still teach. I still use the always be nice whenever I was training people to work in retail. I trained them like bouncers. I would always be nice. Doesn't matter. Listen, they're going to say whatever they want. They're going to call you. They're going to put two nouns together to elicit a physical response. You be nice. You nicely walk them out to the car. You nicely help them with their purchase. And then when it's time to not be nice, how do we know when it's time to not be nice? I'll tell you when it's time to not be nice. Because I was the cooler. But yeah, I think video games they're just kind of like sports video games. I think are just kind of in this same like.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for their next thing.
I think we need new Tony Hawk like extreme sports video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think we could do with like a brand new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like Skate 3 came out like 10 years ago.
There was, I can't remember what it was called, but there was when I was at PAX East last, and that was a while ago. But there was like a really interesting skating game.
Dude, Skate 3 came out in 2010, dude.
Jeez. Yeah, there was a skating game that I like played the demo of that like was very complicated in the way that like you would use the controller to put pressure on different parts of the board and that would change like how it would like react. So like basically the right stick was the right foot, the left stick was the left foot, and like depending on how you turn like
how you like put the sticks in the right way,
change the way that
was it Session?
It might have been. I think it was Session.
Because I played a little bit of that. It was a little buggy, but it was pretty good. It was also hard as hell. Like because it's like you do have to like approach it from a technical. Like it's very much like a skater where it's like yes, I have to put pressure here. I have to do this.
Yeah, it was that game. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's on PlayStation Plus. So if you have PlayStation Plus, you can play it.
It came out 2 years ago. So yeah, I also played. It did not get good reviews.
No, it's as I said, it's a little buggy. It's still pretty good. It's just like complicated. But
yeah,
Lord Greyman just said, I don't know if making a game like that more complicated makes it better. This is one of those instances where it's like it's neat, but it's also like
it's cool, and like if you're really into it, it's really cool. If you're kind of like a more casual fan, like I think me and you would be, it becomes a little bit more difficult because like I never actually skateboarded, despite what my shoes for the last 15 years have said.
Listen, I wear almost exclusively Nike SBs, but like I've never skateboarded.
I wear almost exclusively Vans. So.
I did tell Hannah this year for Christmas. I was like, hey, this isn't me being funny. I kind of want to learn to skateboard like in my 30s.
My tuba teacher in high school, when he bought a house, he built a half pipe in his basement. And so like
cool.
He like reignited his passion for skating in his like late 30s, early 40s.
I think I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll learn to skate. Follow me.
He lives near Scranton. You could.
Oh no way! I'll hit him up. It's only 2 hours away. Yeah. And then Gray said a lot of what made Tony Hawk good was the cool maps, side quests, not really how hard it was to bust tricks.
That's
true. I love the Tony Hawk Underground, which was like Like
Is that the one where you could pick up the one and run around a little bit?
Yeah, it was like the most like out there one.
Open world.
It was like open world. There was no time limits on the levels. It was just
That's
you
cool.
running
I like
around
that.
like Bam Margera doing weird shit that you had to help him with. Hey, I got 12
That
watermelons. Help me throw them at all these pedestrians. Okay.
That guy sucks.
he's a little weird.
He's your hometown guy.
I know. Listen, but we all oh no, who's the guy that we like from
Steve-O?
Steve-O. We all love Steve-O though.
Everyone loves Steve-O. He's
Everybody
turned it
loves.
around, man.
He's
And
great.
Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville, who has like the most updone gray hair I've ever seen of it. Like his hair is so gray, but it's like so well done up. I'm just like, are you sure that's like did that on its own? You didn't just make it.
You know if he's a gray man?
A gray man? He's a gray man. Oh my goodness!
I think we've solved it.
I think we've solved it. So we're gonna end it with like Chris. If you had to pick like one type of sports game, and in chat, this is a question for chat too. If you have one type of sports game that you could play, you can't play any other ones.
Ooh.
Just this one type of sports game. Which one would it be? All the other ones disappear, except for this one.
Well, we were talking about how racing games aren't sports games earlier, right?
That's true. Yeah. So racing games are still on the table, but
racing games are good. I still get to keep racing.
Yes, you do.
Then probably, are we talking about a specific sport, or are we talking about a specific?
I mean, you could pick like a specific. I was thinking like a type of sport game. So like that would be like Super Mario Strikers or like versus FIFA.
Well, so those wouldn't be the same game. Like
no, those would be two different
soccer game, a soccer type,
or like
game.
You could be like because you could be like, oh, rocket soccer is different from regular soccer,
right? But in my head, FIFA and Strikers are like the same. But
okay, sure, why not? There's very little rules.
Anyways,
we all like.
I'm just trying to learn the rules of this game that you've created, Dan.
Listen, listen, Chris. I just want to say,
we all like MILFs.
Hell yeah!
Thank you, Chris.
I mean, it'd probably be like a management sim, honestly, which is super lame. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I probably would have been like, fucking Madden.
Yeah, sucks. Would you rather do would you rather do football or baseball or basketball for the management part of it? I was gonna say, personally, if it was just management, I would do baseball. That seems baseball. A lot more like
the statistics in it are so like the level of detail that go into statistics in baseball are fantastic.
I love Moneyball. I've watched that movie so many times.
You should read the book. It's really good.
The book is really good too.
It's fantastic. But yeah, definitely baseball management for sure. If I had to play like a live game, it'd probably be Madden, honestly. So
okay. Gray says Wii Sports because I get them all.
Nice. That's cheating.
Mine would be legitimately it would be Super Mario Strikers. I like soccer games that are more arcadey. I like it whenever games are more arcadey because then it's like you don't have to worry about crazy rules. You don't have to do the whole thing. Like I love in NFL Blitz that it's like a first down is 30 yards. Like they were just like we can't just do 10 yards. It's got to be 30 yards because
every play would be a first down because running back ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone just does quick outs, runs to the right, throws to the left. The guy runs all the way forward. It's done. But yeah, I think it would be like those soccer games, like Super Mario Strikers. There's another game like Super Mario Strikers. That I'm looking up right now because I played it all the time. It was like, because I remember there was like one soccer player who was like a luchador or something. Let's see, GameCube soccer.
Was it like backyard soccer?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't Sega Soccer Slam.
Oh man, NHL Hits was so good.
Home Run Racers? No. FIFA Street, Super Mario Strikers, NFL Street. Man, I can't remember.
Anyways,
maybe it was Sega Soccer Slam. Maybe it was that. I don't remember, but I don't remember. But it was like it was one that we played a bunch, and I could not remember. And it was so fun, but I couldn't remember a thing about it now. But yeah, that's what I would do.
There's a canceled game called Super Mario Spikers that was supposed to be a hybrid of volleyball and wrestling.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'd be so into that. Like, that's the kind of video game, because that's like, that could never exist in real life. But in video game
But
land,
I want it.
It could. We have cars that fight each other with weapons. That's a thing we could do.
Yeah. Vigilante 8. So good.
All right. Well, hey, guess what, guys? We're going to.
It's time to spread some democracy.
It's time to spread some democracy. But before that, we're going to go into the end of the podcast. If you have any questions for us, pressing or otherwise, you can let us know in the chat, or you can go to our Discord, bit.ly/discobrew. And you can. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me just do.
Well, that's our show.
That's our show for tonight. If you have any questions, you can go to our Discord, bit.ly/discobrew. And then whatever. You can also follow the podcast on all your favorite podcasting mediums by going to just searching The Space Game Brew, all one word. I, of course, am Dan Rotz. You can follow my stream where I play Call of Duty with my brothers by going to twitch.tv/tubecrazed. Chris, do you have anything to plug?
I haven't bought it yet, but go buy Dragon's Dogma 2 because it looks awesome.
Okay, I have opposite opinions, but that's a different conversation we'll have later. And with that, we're going to end the podcast the way we always end the podcast, which is by saying good night, everybody. And stay tuned, sports fans.